Welcome to our channel, The Real Truth of Karen Gillan. By 2010, Karen Gillan had made her lifelong dream of becoming an actor a reality. The Scottish-born star hit the big time when she was cast as Amy Pond in the epic sci-fi franchise Doctor Who, a role which lasted 3 years. She eventually felt like it was time to move on from the show, admitting to it just felt right. "I like to go on instinct." Gillan obviously knew big things were on the horizon. It wasn't long after leaving Doctor Who that she made the leap from the UK to the US, and Gillan quickly became a household name thanks to her roles as Nebula in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Ruby Roundhouse in the Jumanji franchise. Her first decade in the US led to a myriad of TV and theater roles too, and she even did a stint on Broadway. Over the years, Gillan has become best known for her action roles, but there's much more to Gillan than her dance-fighting moves. If you've ever wondered what her biggest guilty pleasure is, or what skill she hasn't mastered yet, then look no further. We've got you covered with all the lesser-known details about the red-headed actor. Karen Gillan began suffering from anxiety as a child. Karen Gillan is one of many celebs who've publicly opened up about their mental health. The movie star revealed that she first started to struggle with anxiety as a child, and she often turned to music, and subsequently acting, as a way to cope with it. "I was such an anxious person growing up. I couldn't even maintain eye contact. I was really over. Walking around, people would comment on it all the time. And then when I performed, I was able to be all of the things that I was so scared to do as a real-life human." Gillan explained to Gillan has also noted that her parents were really supportive of her interest in acting, with her dad often helping her make short films at home. As a result, Gillan decided to pursue acting professionally and landed her first screening credit in the Scottish drama Rebus in 2006. As her career developed, Gillan has continued to experience bouts of anxiety, but she finds ways to deal with it. When it comes to acting, she's admitted that portraying characters with an American accent is like a disguise that often makes her less anxious. She's obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. Everyone has something they were obsessed with while they were growing up, and for Karen Gillan, that was Alice in Wonderland. "I've always loved Alice in Wonderland. Ever since I was a girl, I was obsessed with her. She was my favorite of the Disney princesses, if she counts as one," Gillan told Glamour. Her love of Lewis Carroll's memorable character stayed with her as she grew up, too, and in 2010, Gillan told The Independent that she continued to hold the character close in a special way. "I'm going to call my daughter Alice, if I ever have one," she revealed. Gillan even found a way to incorporate her love of Alice into her Doctor Who character, Amy Pond. "I remember thinking, what's her favorite film? And I thought it could be Alice in Wonderland," she explained. In the sci-fi series, Gillan's character was the companion of the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, and her life was never the same because of this role. The Gunpowder Milkshake star completely fell in love with Amy, who Smith dubbed the sexiest companion of all time via Daily Mail. She auditioned for Game of Thrones before Doctor Who. Karen Gillan definitely left her mark on the sci-fi series Doctor Who, and she has gone on to be a part of some of the biggest TV and movie franchises of the last decade. But had one past audition gone a different way, Gillan could have had a completely different career. "I remember I auditioned for Game of Thrones and then got Doctor Who, like right after that," Gillan revealed in an autocomplete interview. She didn't reveal which part she tried out for, and obviously, she didn't get it, but the Scottish star added that she often gets mistaken for Sophie Turner. Could she have been the Queen of the North in another life? While Gillan is no doubt happy with the direction her career has taken, an unknown role in Game of Thrones isn't the only one she's missed out on over the years. Gillan also auditioned for the role of Agent 33 in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. The part ultimately went to Emily Van Camp, But Gillan impressed Marvel casting director Sarah Finn enough that she wanted her back to play Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy. Gillan made her Broadway debut alongside a fellow Scot before setting off on an epic journey around the galaxy for Marvel. Gillan embarked on a theatrical adventure, making her Broadway debut in 2013. She starred in Time to Act, a series of 24-hour plays where the cast learned and performed a new play every day, alongside fellow Scot James McAvoy. Just a year earlier, Gillan shared how she has been dreaming about Broadway, but was scared to swap the big screen for the stage. "That is a dream of mine. One day, I think I'm too terrified to try it, but I'm going to try it anyway," she admitted to Collider. The experience ended up being a blast, and she loved working with McAvoy, who she revealed to be the best on-screen kissing partner she could have asked for. "He's a great kisser, and he's also Scottish, which makes him an even better kisser," Gillan gushed to On Demand Entertainment. McAvoy's Atonement co-star Keira Knightley paid him a similar compliment after they worked together too, so no need to just take Gillan's word for it. She has a passion for vintage fashion. Karen Gillan fell in love with thrift shopping and vintage fashion when she was a child. Thrifting was an activity she would do with her dad growing up, but that love of pre-loved clothing continued well into adulthood. Now, anytime she's in London, she likes to hit up the famous vintage stores on Brick Lane. "It's one of my favorite hobbies. I start at the top of Brick Lane and work my way down, and I always have an outfit by the time I get to the bottom," Gillan explained to The Standard. Gillan's passion for vintage fashion came full circle in 2012, when it aligned with her passion for acting as she played former supermodel Jean Shrimpton in the period drama We'll Take Manhattan. It was one of her biggest movie roles before moving to Los Angeles, and Gillan found herself very inspired by the film's aesthetic. This bled into her personal sense of style, and she has plenty of pieces in her wardrobe inspired by the swinging 60s. "It's the same kind of look that I like, not just with clothes. Everything I own looks a bit old. The older, the better," she told Vogue. Gillan became an action star by accident. After a decade in Hollywood, Karen Gillan has starred in countless action movies. The most notable among them were the Jumanji franchise and near a dozen appearances in the along with playing Sam in Gunpowder Milkshake, Carol Cobb in Netflix COVID-19 spoof, The Bubble, and Sarah Morris in Stuber. Observing Gillan's credits, it would be easy to assume that each of these roles was strategically chosen to further her credentials as a bona fide action star. However, Gillan is the first to admit that she fell into the genre completely by accident. 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy marked her entry into the world of action, which she was somewhat unprepared for. It must have looked hilarious, just limbs flying around. They were like, "Okay, you've got the role, but you need to learn to fight," Gillan admitted to The Guardian. But it marked a huge turning point in her life on a personal level as well as a professional one. With all the roles Gillan was taking on, the dual star had to start working out consistently for the first time in her life, something that ultimately spurred on her love of exercise. "That sort of changed my life because I'd never worked out before. I'd never eaten healthily in my life. I didn't know how to do it. It wasn't healthy at all. I can't believe the way I used to go on," Gillan admitted. Thanks you for watching. Stay connected with us for more videos.